Hello and welcome. 60 seconds till showtime.
Are you ready?
Okay, we are double dipping today. We just got off an e-bike ride and now we get ready to do our kayaking.
Woohoo, we are good to go. And here, one is in. Are you ready? They are ready. Are we ready on the right? The right is ready. Woohoo! Escape. Anybody want to go in there and chase the moose out? I think they come right out here. We can get some great action footage. Oh, he's going to give a birth. That's nice of him.
Don't take us toward him,
We've done it, ladies and gentlemen. We have reached the end of the voyage.
My head's under my body's Unmute your mic! My butt's wet. Welcome. Are you ready, Michael?
And I am. Hello, everybody. I'm Michael.
And I'm Grace.
And together we are California Travel Video. Ooh, we are back.
We are back. Hello, Van City. Hello, Diane. It's good to see you guys. Hope everybody's doing well.
Better than we deserve here.
Right. We are in California, Northern California. Today, the weather is about 92 here with no air conditioning, and the air quality currently is about 125 outside. So it's unhealthy. So we've got all the doors and windows closed, but I've got a fan circulating some air. How about you? Hello, the Dyson's Crazy Adventure.
Good to have you here as always, and I hope you are having cooler temperatures. As you can see, I'm doing an homage to Captain Jack. I'm not going to go all the way. In fact, look at that, my redneck. I'm not a redneck, am I? Well, what do you think, Grace? Am I rednecking it? Her lips are sealed. Like that, huh? Okay, well, guilty as charged, I'm afraid. So, yeah, we had a great, almost month-long trip. Would you say a better part of 4 weeks, didn't we?
Yeah, almost 4 weeks. Hi,
2 years ago, we went around the United States clockwise. This time, we went around the Northwest clockwise, didn't we?
We did, and it was kind of weird coming back the opposite direction than we normally go. But it was a phenomenal trip. We made lots of great memories. What you saw in our latest video was our day on the river. That video is available now on YouTube. It was really exciting with close encounters of the moose kind. Michael kept me safe. He protected me.
Or something like that. Yeah, I just kind of did moose. We don't like moose. I'm not a moose eater, and I hope you're not, conversely, an eater either. You're supposed to be a vegetarian.
Who, me?
No, the moose.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So anyway, it was a nice trip. We did get to check one new state off on our list. What was that, honey?
We got to check off the state of Washington. We had not yet taken our RV up there, and we did some wonderful things in Washington. We had some amazing bike rides with our e-bike. Those will be coming out in some of the Rails to Trails. I conquered the Hiawatha Trail, the 10 tunnels, one of them 1.6 miles, the 30-story high trellises that go over the mountain range, but I did it.
You done did it. You did good, baby.
I did.
So what would you say was your highlight of the trip? I mean, you had a lot of things you were looking forward to, but in kind of a retrospect, what would you say was the big enchilada for you?
Hiding under the kayak with you.
That's the story behind that.
I think I was even lying in moose dung.
Come on. No, we close to it. You're right. And we did get very close to the Grand Tetons. We stayed at Driggs, Idaho, which was very nearby. And so we met with 150 of our best friends. Well, not maybe, but we met some new friends there at the X Capers. That's with the X in front, the millennials mostly. But hey, they let us in as long as we play
Millennials?
nicely. What's that?
Millennials?
Yeah, X generation millennials.
X generation. Millennials come after X generation.
Oh, you might check on that. Okay, or
I
maybe
think
I
we
should.
already went through this before, honey.
Okay, I guess so. Thank you for that, Grace. You always need your wife there to go ahead and give you some coaching, although I'm
Hello,
a slow learner.
hello, Ash RV. How are you? Welcome.
Ashes in April.
So tell us about your adventures. What's been going on in your life?
Yeah.
What's exciting? Any new places on the map that we need to check out?
True. Or where they're been, where they're at, or where they're going. So, yeah, on our return trip, we went, once we got down to the Grand Tetons, we started kind of going south. Well, we went through Idaho the other way after we got to the northern part up there by Coeur d'Alene, the Hiawatha Trail. And then we ducked down to Winnemucca, about 200 miles. It was just kind of lonely, but Grace, she always tells good stories. So that was nice. And then when we got down to Interstate, I guess that was in 95, we got down to Interstate 80 and it was hoo-hoo. So I found a rifle range that you could go to for free. I won't talk about rifles or handguns today, but it was nice to just have somewhere. It was a very nice facility they had there for everybody's use. And then we started heading back towards Reno. And, we learned, or at least I did, about Municipal Code Section 8. Do you know about Municipal Code Section 8 in your city? I think it's on evictions is what it is. And it turns out that Reno, including Boomtown there, they, like some of the cities now, they're starting to say, well, we don't want some of the people that, I don't know if they're homeless or RVers or what, but we don't want them staying at Cabela's. We don't really want them at the casinos. And they're just, supposed to be in a mobile park. Yeah. Mobile campground. Yeah. Something like that. So at any rate, it didn't give us too much of a problem, but I did kind of want to learn about the law. And so for your benefit there, it's probably good to take a look at Section 8 of your municipal cities you're going to. And the Boomtown Casino, they said, yeah, you can park here, but you just can't stay for more than I think they said 8 hours, didn't they, Grace?
Right, 8 hours. Anything over 8 hours is considered camping and not allowed. I see Kathleen. Hello.
Hey,
welcome.
Kathleen.
We missed you. I thought about you pretty frequently, some of your wonderful tips that you gave us.
And we saw a lot of truckers and thought about you also there.
We
a lot
did.
of good truckers out there on the road.
So what was your highlight, Michael?
Ooh. Well, the... we got the kayaks. I got to say, when you've got new toys, you like to use them. We've taken it out a couple of times up by Lake Tahoe area and also by place you wanted to go look for eagles there at a lake south in the Sierra National Forest. So that had to be one of the ones. It was such a good trail on the Tetons River. It was beautiful. The Hiawatha Trail was another one. So that was a lot of fun. The 1.6 miles of the tunnel. You better have good lights or be near your neighbor there when you're going through that tunnel. I got to say, though, I haven't played golf for a better part of 2 years with the COVID thing. When we got down to Idaho, well, it's interesting. Montana, they say 6 feet away from other people. Okay. You get to Idaho and they say, kind of do its best, they kind of maybe not. When you get to Nevada, it's like you will wear your mask. So I did enjoy playing golf, though. Right out by, I would like to call it Shoshone River. We've called that in our previous videos, but the Shoshone Falls, or Shoshone Falls, as they say it, Twin Falls, I think it's also called. But to play golf out there, right next to the majestic falls that are taller than Niagara Falls. That was a lot of fun. One of Grace's friends has moved out that way and showed us good company. So I have to say is, going with good friends, we were wined and dined and then some too. So that was a wonderful time we had, I would say. Thanks, Grace. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, again, it was absolutely phenomenal. I noticed that Ash said that they had been recently, let me go back here. In fact, actually, let me put it up. Kat says the next time we go to the Tetons, go to the Wyoming side, which is where we were in 2019. We did stay in some of the national park campgrounds. It was the national forest campgrounds. And we went through Lamoille, saw the big geyser, rode along the Tetons, got ripped off at an RV spot because there isn't a lot of them. How much was that one? Like $90 or something?
Yeah, well, if you wanted the kind of minimal, which is all we needed, we could even got by without the hookup. In fact, they didn't really even have that great a restroom facility there, but they did have one.
A shower.
No shower, no. So, it was a little surprising, but it's supply and demand. So we get it that we did get a chance to use our solar panels and kind of do a little bit of boondocking there in a couple places. So that worked out really well for us there. And when we were at the area at Driggs, they said that for all the escapers, it's not going to be, it's dry camping, not going to be anything else. And we did just fine, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, Michael did a great job getting our solar hooked up. So we were, using the solar quite frequently, used the generator a little. Stayed inside with some bad weather. When we first got there, it was really hot. And then when we left, there'd been rain for 2 or 3 days. So,
yeah.
You can never count on everything going perfectly. So it really becomes a challenge to enjoy what you're given.
True.
So RV Ashes in April says that they have been to, now help me out here, is that Wisconsin and MI? I get all my M states messed up. There's MA, I think it's Massachusetts.
Yeah,
but MI is that Michigan or Minnesota?
MI is Michigan.
Okay, and then Ohio and KY?
Kentucky.
I was thinking Kansas.
So yeah.
Kentucky was nice. We went to the Mammoth Caves in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and we've got Susan here, New Horizons, and she's got something coming up down in her neck of the woods. Not too many months in the future. I wish we could make it across 3,000 miles. What did we say? We had how many miles? So we went 3,300 or something like that on our trip?
Yeah, just about. We had planned that it was going to be about 3,000 and we went 3,300. So we did not go off our course by much at all. No,
that would get us to Mayberry. I got to say, the gas prices, diesel prices, on our Mercedes engine. And we were getting 15 miles to the gallon almost all the time. And so that was pretty good, even going through the mountains and everything. Like we're up there by Mount Rainier. I had to think about it for a second.
That we never did see. We spent the night there, but we never saw the mountain.
We were in the mountain. We saw a lot of the mountain. We didn't see the peak, though. But anyway, so Susan's got a great meetup coming up at Mayberry in the middle of October. Oh, there it is, 14th to the 17th. And some of the people are going to be there a little early. Some are going to stay a little late in the area. But great campground facility. And if you like YouTubers, if you like RVers, if you like having a good time and partying, that's the place to go. Oh, well, we shouldn't say that's the only place to go up to Michigan. Michigan, everybody points to the hand. It's in this part of the state, wherever that. My hand, all I think I see is my lines. How do your lines look, Grace? Tell me about your lines. She's so youthful. There's no lines.
They look long.
I think she's on the witness protection program with the FBI. Probably has no fingerprints either.
So, Sue, if you want to go ahead and post the link to the Mayberry meetup or any of the meetups in the chat, please feel free to do so. I think our own Kenneth, aka Kenneth Ford, is in Branson, Missouri.
Awesome.
And I have a feeling because, we've become a little bit of a detective after a while. And Mo Bang for Your Bucks left a note in the community saying he wasn't going to be doing his live because he was doing a road trip and that was a surprise. So I have a feeling
road trips
showing up to go meet Kenneth maybe.
Would love to see Kenneth, all of you. And Kenneth is certainly a special guy. Enjoyed getting to know him better, I won't sing. Sorry about that, Grace. So yeah, Ken, this awesome dude. So yeah, I'm looking here. I'm reading. Kathleen, you're talking about your tablet. Doesn't let me do links. Okay, but there you go. And on that note, when we got about halfway through, like 2 years ago, my high performance MSI laptop says, "No, Michael, I'm not going to go past blue screen of that." Well, it would boot, it would reboot, and you could look at the BIOS screen, but it worked for a couple minutes, and then it's like, no. In a way, I'm happy that it's whatever is going on, it's solidly in, and I think it would boot off of a USB, but I'm gonna have to take it in, and I could tinkle, but I'm not gonna tinker with those. Are kind of like,
don't tinkle.
It's tinker. I was thinking of Kindle and Kinder. No, but I'm not going to tinkle on it anymore. Excuse me. But yeah, it's kind of needs a little fix. So I've been working up to the last minute. I'm sorry, it's a couple minutes late, but I think I've got my iPad in place of the laptop. So not that I don't have enough screens here, Grace. How many screens do I have in this room?
I think 8.
I think 8. Yeah.
Well, I only have 2, and that was Michael's doing. I guess I kind of use the second one sometimes, but I don't know. I think you're a really good multitasker, Michael.
It's a sickness. Don't judge me, but I'm trying to just keep up with you, my love. That's why I'm doing this practice.
No, my brain only multitasks. The rest of me doesn't.
Shopping, Michael. Yeah, I'm going to probably have to consider whether I take scented in. You always feel that, like, is it time to go ahead? Now, Grace, she'll judge me. She'll say, Michael, you got a lot of stuff. We got to start downsizing. We're getting up there in the years. Don't you know there, sonny boy? So, but I like to say is, I don't get rid of things, honey. I will never get rid of you either, my love.
Oh, well, thank you. If you can find me, that is.
And see an old card chunky there. Hi, y'all.
Nice
hi to you too. Good to have you
Hope
here.
You're doing well.
Yes. Good to kind of preserve things.
Definitely.
So should we start letting people know about what we've got on the agenda for the next 1 hour and 15 minutes? So good to be back. I am fresh, honey. Are you fresh? You a fresh horse?
We are. And we
ready to be rode?
Some guests. One of them should be showing up momentarily. Just checking to see if I've heard from them. So hang in here a sec.
Okie dokie. And we got another one coming in maybe a little after the top of the hour. And somebody that I've kind of met and I wouldn't say stalked, but watched over the years. He's in another YouTube producers group that I am also in. He's very passionate about his, he's not like a semi or full-time RVer, but he does get, out and rents them and goes out and sees other states. So we'll talk to him about that, about, most of us are middle age. Middle age extends to about 80 or 90 as long as you're healthy, wealthy, and wise, or a couple of the three. But Nick will tell you more about him. He'll be coming on in a little bit also. So, yeah, we've got a pretty good show coming up for you today. And so let's see. Downsizing is for sissies. Listen to that, Kathleen.
No.
Yes.
No, I want more
RV Tetris. This is me. Guilty as charged.
No,
yes.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to tell you a quick story while we wait for our first guest.
I'm so tickled, Kathleen.
Real quick. Hang in here 1 second, and I have a story for you.
Okay.
All right. So we are dry camping. Our water tank holds probably 30 gallons of water.
That's right. 30 gallons.
So we went into the campground on Saturday, and I don't think we'd filled up for a couple days before that. So probably Thursday. So a week later, and we are like almost out of water completely. So we have 5 gallons underneath the RV, and somewhere in the RV, there's a funnel to put the 5 gallons into our tank. Can't find the funnel. So I said, okay, let me.
Oh, no, it's not. We can't find it. It just takes me a little while to find it. That's all. Just a little while.
Okay. So I put on my Barbie building imagination like I did when I was a kid. And I made a funnel out of a cardboard from like some graham crackers or something. And I put tin foil around it and tape, made a funnel. and we got the 5 gallons in, and it kind of collapsed. You know, it is made out of cardboard, but it got most of the 5 gallons
She
in.
put some aluminum foil on the inside as much as she could, but she didn't use my gaffer's tape, duct tape.
Okay.
No.
Well, so for part 2, we went and got 5 more gallons of water at the spigot. And we brought that back. And this time I used a Subway cup, and I used a paper towel roller, again with tin foil and everything. And Michael got out the gaffer's tape. I like to call it duct tape because much more rhymes with duct tape than gaffer tape.
We won't go there.
We got
this is a family show.
I know. We got the funnel working. We got the next 5 gallons in. We high-fived each other. And I'm like, okay, throw this away. Okay, Michael, take it from here. What happened?
Well, I mean, this is engineering. And I don't know about you, Grace, but I have some sentimentality, believe it or not, from sometimes. And so, it was like a vuvuela. You ever seen a vuvuela where they're, I think, down in the big soccer games in South American places? This thing's about, maybe, I don't know, 18 inches long. And it's a nice funnel. It's got all this tape on it and aluminum foil and cardboard and adapters with different cups that we've had to cut off. And it's like a masterpiece. I can't just throw it away. It's like, honey, we might get a patent on this baby.
Okay, and they sell them at the Dollar Tree for $1. And they're probably a lot more functional. So if you think we should throw them away, put a 1. If you think that we should keep it, put a 2. Let's you guys vote. If we should keep it, put 1. If we should throw it away, put a 2.
I'm clicking right now.
No, your vote doesn't count.
What? Look at Kathleen. Waste not, want not.
Okay, so Michael, you voted to throw it away.
No, you said 2 is to save. Come on. We can rewind this, baby. Don't give me that.
Let me reverse. I thought, wait, is 1 to throw it away?
1 is to throw.
Okay. So,
I got to say, though, just on this note, this is something I hope that tickles you. I don't know for those of you who have spouses, partners, friends, but when you're talking and like, well, especially for us, have been like, we got 10 years behind us now. It's like, sometimes I don't know if we hear things wrong, if we don't say things right, if we just like thought we heard something else, what they should have said. But we have a couple things in the front of the RV. One is the tire pressure monitor system. Great. Nice to know the temperature of your tires and the pressure of your tires. Tires and brakes are pretty important. Second, we have, what else is up there? Well, we have, like if I want to have a GoPro camera and do some recording there, but then we have another thing there, which is a EYI, and it records wherever we go. We have them in all of our vehicles. If there's ever something happen, it's just nice to see what's going on in the road. And we've used some of it in our videos when someone cuts us off or whatever, exciting times. But sometimes, just sometimes, it's like, well, Grace, I thought I heard you say, and you'll say, no. And I said, well, let's go ahead and play the video back. and so that's kind of our final arbiter. But then we get into the thing, well, how come you're recording it? Want this recording, but not the other one, right, darling?
Well, we still have a few that we need to listen to.
Yes, we do have to be better listeners.
Yeah, maybe we'll make a video of those little conversations. They should
probably should.
We'll have the jury still be out.
Yeah, if you like spectacle, if you like drama, then we can provide you that if that's what you want from us. So what's this? 1 to go, 2 to stay. Thereabouts.
So you want to count the votes? Let's see. We've got
yes.
One. Yours doesn't count, Michael. So Kathleen, 1, 2. 2 to throw it away. No.
I'm not sure we're going to even agree on this.
I'm confused. I confused myself.
We'll call it a tie then. Okay.
Okay.
We'll call it a tie. Maybe we should just be sure we say to Sippy Cup and to Nick, if you want to go ahead and come into the green room now, you don't have to wait. You can go ahead and click on the link that we sent you, which would be to our StreamYard account. So you don't want to be going over to YouTube for this. You want to be going to StreamYard. That was what you said to them, honey?
Yes, I sent them the link, so they should be coming into the basement.
Maybe you should resend it just to be sure. And yes, Linda, I am the original gadget guy. Yeah, I should get my iPhone up and show you like my IMSI 8080 and things back from 30, 40 years ago.
What did the Pink Panther say when he stepped on the ant?
I know.
Go ahead.
Dead ant.
Dead
Dead
ant.
ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant. Dead ant.
So Michael's the gadget guy. Okay, so I'm not quite sure where Sippy Cup is. They are in San Francisco. They're going to go to some type of a music festival. So it could be an issue where they didn't have connectivity that they thought that they would have. Yeah. Hello, Mo Bang. Where you at?
Tim is here. Good to see you, Tim.
So I'm going to go ahead and show a little trailer I made. And if you guys have an opportunity and you want to check them out, but before I go to that trailer, in their honor, we brought our own sippy cups.
Oops.
Toast me, babe. I think I go the opposite of what I think. No, this way. Okay. Toast.
Tippy cup.
Cheers.
Ching. Tippy cup.
Michael, toast me.
Oh, I toasting you, my darling.
You're supposed to touch my glass.
Oh, I see.
This
way. Okay.
There
got it. Ching. Now, I'm slow, but I eventually learn.
He's so awesome. Did you see that, honey? Let me get my little...
Tim, super chat. You're always so generous.
I know.
Tim, and we be sure to check out his videos there. He has got some awesome stuff. If you want to get better value for your money or more bang for your buck, then Tim is the man, our hero.
Got wonderful ideas.
Except he needs a bigger rig, Tim, so that you can have more stuff like we do. But if you want someone who is optimizes and finds multiple uses for things, he is the guy.
Tim says, did Michael say ching chong? Ching ching. Ching ching, like money. Ching 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 ching.
Ching ching, like denario.
So I'm going to show this trailer for Sippy Cup Adventure, and while I'm sharing the little trailer I made here, why don't you guys put in the comments what you think is in our sippy cup, and let's see if anybody can get that right. All righty, so here we go.
I'm going to try to see if I can give him a color. Hope it doesn't spill.
No.
If you're looking for trips in Northern California, hopefully we could be of help here on Sippy Cup Adventures. So today we're going to talk about our day at Donner Lake. Cheers. Cheers.
It's to use their toys and the other amenities that they offer.
Water toys.
Water toys.
You lost me on toys. I'm trying to overcome that.
Water toys, people. Where are your minds at?
So the link will be below in the description, but if you're interested in booking with Captain Nick, search the Get My Boat app. There's a 3-hour sailing experience on North Lake Tahoe.
Hey, welcome to Sippy Cup Adventures of Northern California. We think we have another great lake for you to check out. This one's in Placer County. Coming up in just a minute.
All right.
Wow. How about that? Good job there.
And they love to explore Northern California primarily. And they are self-described as lazy Gen Xers that like to take us to some of the local spots and share some great inside tips and the best places to stay and great places to eat. So if you're thinking about visiting us in Northern California, or you just want to see some great scenery, be sure to check them out. And let's go ahead and look at what we've got in our glass. White wine, possibly a Chablis.
Chablis, a good
Apparently I
call.
don't drink white wine.
No, well,
Wine.
we'll drink it when we're at my mom's house. You know, she's a white wine, a rosé. Wine, that's a good
so
guess.
We have 2 for wine. Any other guesses out there? Nope, not wine.
Definitely stronger than wine.
Michael, he gives too many hints.
Oh, sorry.
And then,
It's
why
more
the
like
video looks the 70s.
more like antifreeze. No, don't drink antifreeze.
Oh, what am I going to do with him? Okay, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on to our second guest. I'm going to play the trailer from his channel, and then Michael, why don't you introduce him, and then I will play his trailer.
I think you should do, you want it that way? I was thinking do the trailer first, but what would you have a strong preference?
After I do the trailer, he'll be with us.
Oh, okay. Okay, so today we are going to welcome Nick, and you don't normally see somebody with 8 letters with 5 syllables. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this right, but he's going to help us. Lituanio, or something close to that. So if you know Neo, I don't know if you ever watched any of the Matrix series, but we can all do Neo. So, but Lituanio is going to be our special guest today, and he is just about 10 miles south of us, actually. I haven't got a chance to meet him yet, but if I go just on the other side there, about 10 miles south of me, down in Novato in Marin County, great guy, and give you a little bit more on his background. But, he has been in the entertainment business, if you will, news, if you want to call that entertainment. No, but he has been in the television industry, and he has been producer in a lot of different jobs in news reporting. But he realized that he does have a passion, as we all become middle-aged, as I mentioned earlier, about being healthy. What do we want to do with the second, hopefully the best half of our lives? And he's a personal trainer, has a lot of other fantastic things to share about. But if you like to philosophize about where you want to go with your life so that you can have great years, then Nick is going to be your man. He's very passionate. He's also become a very strong YouTube producer who's on the up-and-coming list. And I think you're going to love his show and love his videos, I know. So you're going to find out more about his videos. But first, Grace has got a little video interlude. So let's try that.
Without further...
Hi, I'm Nick. Do you want to take better care of yourself, but it just seems overwhelming at times? How about get outside and enjoy this big, beautiful world that we all share? Well, I was a husband, a father, and a small business owner, and it hit me. Life is frickin' short, and if I was going to live my best life, I was going to have to mix things up. So I kept the husband and the dad part, but I changed the work part. I'm now a certified personal trainer and outdoor enthusiast. What you're going to get on this channel is proven, non-sponsored food and fitness information. My goal is to give you simple, useful tips that you can use right now to make meaningful change in your life. And then we're going to get outside and have some fun. Hiking, biking, travel, skiing, whatever comes our way, we're going to go do it. One of the reasons that you take better care of yourself is so you can be active and get outside to enjoy this big, beautiful world that we all share. My hope is to motivate and inspire you to live your best life. I post regularly, so please take a look around, subscribe, and join our growing community.
Welcome, Nick.
Hey, Nick, good to have you here. Wait a second. Let's make this a standing ovation for Nick.
Woo!
Woo-hoo-hoo. How you doing, young man?
I'm doing very well. And boy, did you butcher my last name. I don't even know about that.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm praying.
You have to sing it, Michael. You have to sing it. It's
okay.
Lituanio.
Lituanio. Oh, yeah, the Italian way. Lituanio.
Yeah.
So, Nick, you have a guess for our sippy cups?
A what?
Do you have a guess for what's in our sippy cups?
Oh, no. I'm going to say some Crystal Geyser sparkling water. How about that? That's
Ooh, that's close to what she likes. Grace, what's your favorite water?
Crystal Geyser.
Man, you nailed it.
Like we planned it.
But that's not it.
But it has maybe that's for the ice cubes, but something that has ice cubes with it.
So welcome. It's so nice to finally get an opportunity to meet you. I've been watching your videos and binging on them for quite a while. You've got so much energy.
Yeah,
it's true.
Do.
You know, why don't you start? I love all of your videos, and I love your brand, your persona, your avatar, whatever you want to call it. Is that we're in a group together, and Lennon Bone, I think he gave some great advice to you recently. And one of the, when we get ready to produce a video, Nick wants to be not just what he wants, but he wants to be what you want to see. And so I guess that when he goes out, though, he's like, because he's been in the production industry, he keeps the pace moving. He knows how to go ahead and keep his audience engaged. And one of the ones I just loved, of course, I'm biased because I like RVs, I like travel, but when you had your van and you were in Nevada, I think it was, but tell us a little bit about that trip, because a lot of the people here are travel and RV related, and I get the feeling like you like adventure.
I do like adventure. And as someone who is recently kind of ended my first career and entered my second career, I prefer that to retired, because I'm not sure exactly what retired means. My wife and I decided that we wanted to try a van trip. So we rented a Class B van. It was a 17-foot van. And we drove from California over to southern Utah. And it was really a fabulous trip. We were able to see some beautiful spots and get out and hike and do some kind of dispersed camping, which was really great. But the funny thing, there were many funny things that happened, but
yes, there were.
Yeah. The one that cracked me up the most, in retrospect, I remember we're in this tiny little bed in the back of the van, we're basically on top of each other. And I remember that first night thinking, there is no way that I can do this for 14 days. This is just, I'm going to kill my wife if I have to be in this close contact with her. And surprise, surprise, we got into this really great rhythm and this dance of kind of how to live in this space. And being away from home, being away from technology, being away from all of the kind of the stuff that's around us at home, it gave us an opportunity to just really spend time with each other and reconnect, I suppose. And we're looking forward to doing it again, because it was such a lovely time.
She's a beautiful woman, and it's like you say, it's not the sharks, but it's always the constant minnows that are nibbling at us. And so you just kind of seem like, I don't know if you want to call it a Zen-like state. You strike me as that, at least I wouldn't say prophesize, but at least what you share is that something is to be kind of awareness, living in the now or whatever. But I think when you get out there, at least for Grace and I, would you support what he says? Is that we get out and away from it?
It's kind of odd, because when we're home, we're in this 3,000 square foot house, and I spend time here in my office. He spends time hovering the Golden Gate Bridge. And, we see each other at dinner. We see each other when we take a dog for the walk. And then we go in the RV. And like you said, it's like on top of each other, but you learn to dance. And one thing that Michael and I learned this trip that really worked well for us is, if we get to the point where we're kind of getting testy or tired, we're no longer allowed to speak to each other. We can communicate, but no longer speak, because when you speak, you're hearing different tonalities. You're hearing that you're annoyed but when you have to communicate with somebody just using body language or, like a charade type thing, it just makes it more fun. So I think that saved our bacon a couple nights, don't you, honey?
It is. And what Linda is saying, she gets the bed days and I get the bed nights, because, when I get into my Premiere Pro editing and things. I'm getting like 7 gigabytes of I don't know how many hundred videos from the GoPros to the Canon cameras to, you know, all the different stuff. And, you know, you're so having so much, oh, and I've got to get the music just right and everything. And all of a sudden you realize is that's not just what they wanted. I mean, I've got this little device right here. It's a video camera that you can have like wherever you go when you're e-biking. Or
behind your name, honey.
Insta360 Go too. And Nick, I guess what you're saying is that you kind of learn to get away from some of the technology and just be a real person.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of us, when we're forced out of our 3,000 square foot home, when we're forced into that situation away from all of the stuff that can occupy our time, I find that I get into just a different headspace, I guess is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And nature has always been, I don't want to sound like a freaking, stereotypical Californian, but it's always been
hug a tree.
Yeah, right. But it's always been a soothing place for me because I used to backpack when I was in high school in my early 20s and just spent a lot of time outdoors. And I just love getting away from, my day-to-day life. It puts me in a different perspective. And I only stopped working in my primary job. It's been about 1.5 years. So that's still kind of new to me as well, so it's almost like I get a double whammy. I'm farther away from that and I'm out in the outdoors. And I just really like it, I really do.
Well, I know for me, one of the things I enjoy is it's a lot more simplistic. The decisions that you need to make are a lot more simple. It's more a survival than it is, we have so many things, like you said, that occupy our time. And when you really break it down, a lot of it's unnecessary and not really that important, and when you're out, you're only doing what you need to do, but living in the now, enjoying the moment, it's awesome.
It's almost like it's elemental. You know what I mean? Because you have all of these distractions that are away from you, like, you don't have this freaking thing, necessarily lighten up your life. It's like dinner becomes an event. You know what I mean? It's like you got to plan for it, and washing dishes and everything is like, okay, that's what we're doing now. And yeah, I totally love that. I do.
Gosh, I think it was about maybe 20, 30 years ago, not to date myself, but Colbert Bailey, I think his name was, Fit or Fat. I don't know if any of you out there remember his, some of the things, his philosophy on life, but very passionate guy, kind of like Leo Buscaglia type. And he said that, sometimes when things weren't going well, he said, kind of like Nick, he'd go out biking or running. He said, if things had tension at home with his bride or things, he said after 5 or 10 minutes, he said, he'd forget what he was angry about. And after half an hour, he said he'd even forget that he was married. So the point being is that, I think, do you find that, I don't know if it's the adrenaline or just the clarity of mind or just inhaling the oxygen, or what is it when you go out that, I know it's more than just like, you don't prophesize at all, is that, you got to lift weights or whatever. I think if you don't do it for fun, you're not going to do it. But what is it you feel when you go out there and you do that or help other people as a personal trainer?
So there's kind of two questions, and I'll answer them one at a time. The first question for me is, whenever I would ride my bike or go to the gym or go hiking or take the dogs up onto the ridge, I used to run a creative agency, and my email and my phone and people were constantly at me. So whenever I chose to do those things, I would go dark. I would not be connected to my phone. I wouldn't respond to phone calls, emails. And so for me, it was a way to release from the stress of the day-to-day work. It was like, if I was on my bike ride, I was on my bike ride. You couldn't get a hold of me. And we remember when that was actually possible, right? When you were gone for the day, it actually meant you were gone for the day. It's like, oh, you can't get, you can't get Michael or Grace. They're not available.
Leave a message.
right? Leave a message on one of those little pieces of paper even before voicemail. And so there's that part of it, and that really works for me. In the second part, I think what I talk to my clients about and what I try and share on my channel is I don't want to preach at people. We're all old enough to know what we need to do to take care of ourselves. This is not rocket science. And in fact, I'm a big believer in simplifying all of that. It's not about making it complicated. Sometimes going for a walk every day, that can be enough, and it's not about, oh, you got to lift all these weights, or you got to lose this, or you got to do that. It's like, let's simplify things. But I find the key for most people is finding their own why around taking better care of themselves.
The why.
The why. You have to find the why. And, do you want to live a long life with your spouse? Do you want to see your grandkids? Do you want to live, whatever your why is, it has to be something that is personal and meaningful to you. It can't be, whatever gets you started is great, but if your why is I want to look good in a bikini, that's not a real powerful why. It's a good thing if it gets you started, but soon it's going to be winter and you're not going to be wearing that bikini. So I try and work with people in that regard at the gym. It's like, why are you doing this? And how can we make this something that's not a chore, that's not difficult, but something that you can actually enjoy? And that often means, don't go to the gym. If the gym doesn't work for you, if walking and doing yoga or, using bands at home or whatever it is, I'm all about getting people to just be, as active as they can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you don't enjoy it, if you don't find a benefit of it, you probably are going to say, I know that shoulda, coulda, oughta, nada. In fact, I think you get into neurolinguistics, and some of those are among the 7 deadly words.
Yeah, I bet they
are. Are you familiar with Simon Sinek?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think he's the one who came up with the why. In other words, when you have a product like this, well, it's not in my pocket right now, but the iPhone or whatever it is you have, is it your PDA? Is that it's what are the benefits of it? It's like, you can say, well, it does email or text or photos, but what is the real benefit, or what's the why of that? What is it you're trying to accomplish? How will it either take away pain or make your life or somebody else's life better to connect with other people? What are the the deeper intrinsic things? And I suspect when you deal with your clients, and probably even more when you look at the mirror, you're looking at yourself, the sombering moment is that you kind of have a deeper perspective than probably most of us do.
Yeah, working with people and helping them realize where they're at and then what they're capable of is incredibly powerful. And people who put effort in, all of my clients are over 60 years old. When they come in the gym and they see me, they're like, oh, I want to work with that guy, because I'm their age. You know what I mean? I have a hip replacement. I have, arthritis in my knees. I got stuff, like we all have stuff. And, when people commit to change, even if it's starting to walk every day, that's a keystone habit, and you can build on that. But they see the change, they feel the change, and then the light bulb goes on, and it is no longer something that they have to do. It's something that they get to do. And they feel better. They can work in the garden longer. They can walk the dog longer. They can lift weight that they never thought they would lift. There are all kinds of really wonderful things that happen with that, And the hard thing is, and what I found in my early YouTube channel was I was kind of more of a you should do this channel. And I found that people don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear you should do
lectures.
this.
Nobody wants lectures.
No, and so that's why I changed the focus of my channel, to this idea of disrupt retirement, which is more around the idea that, you know, you're not your parents. So the way they retired, that doesn't have to be the way that you retire.
Exactly.
Right. And health and fitness is a small part of that, but it is a part of that. If you do put a little effort into taking better care of yourself, your body's going to respond. It's going to help you feel better, and you're going to be able to do the things that you want to do in that last half of your life.
Exactly. Robert is with us from RV Weekends, and he says, I ride my bike about 8 to 12 miles every other day, lift 15-pound dumbbells, and eat less. My knees and belly feel so much better. Next, I have to drink less soda. And with that, I do have a soda story. I don't know if it's relevant to you, Robert, but I gave up soda in like 2006-ish when I did Weight Watchers. And even when I was 13 and 14, I had cellulite. Okay. I just back end cellulite. I gave up soda. I don't have cellulite. I mean, I still have a back, but it's not cellulite. So that's a good reason to give up soda if you want to get rid of that cellulite behind.
My wife is Bertha.
Bertha Big Butt. One of the
No, you're not. She's at all. But no, Robert, you are right. Is that I had 20 years with my diet sodas. I just love to go to 7-Eleven and get the SGB, the super big gulp.
Oh my Lord, how big was that damn thing? Like
44 ounces. But I liked it with a lot of ice, and I so it watered it down some. I just sip on it, I guess like a cigarette smoker, so here's my thing. When I was in my 20s, I thought, I need to stop drinking coffee. I'm having 10 cups a day at work. I don't need it. And so I stopped and I started drinking tea. But I was drinking better part of 10 cups of tea a day. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stop. And I went to hot water, and, that seemed like a good placebo. But then, when you want to quench your thirst, and the carbonation is, I think, what it was for me. And so I was lucky. I was like, one time I thought I had maybe a bit of a cold, and I was having one of my super big gulps, and I started drooling, just almost uncontrollable, like saliva. And I was driving the car, and I had to stop, and I thought, what am I doing to my body? And so I was happy when I was finally able. So, whatever the catalyst is because you intellectualize it, or if you some physical thing, I don't know, but I am happy that, I no longer have that kind of vice. But, if it's something that you hold dear, if you can, like I say, add more ice to it or more water it down or something, there are ways, I guess, that you might find that might help you, Robert.
And something I want to point out, Robert, or it is, you're doing great. So let's start with that. If you're riding your bike every other day and your heart rate's getting up and you're doing some strength training, let's use those things as successes, because they're incredibly important. They're huge successes, and congratulations. You should feel good about that. And what we tend to do as humans, right, is we focus on something. Oh, I'm not doing that quite perfect. And so that's the thing I'm going to focus on. Yeah, ultimately, you're going to want to give up the soda or the sugar. But remember, I consume sugar, we all consume sugar, and sugar, the more we find out about it, it is an incredibly addictive substance. And they find that how quickly sugar hits the pleasure centers of your brain, it's faster than nicotine, which they thought was like one of the fastest things. So, Michael, with you, it's like, yeah, we like sugar as humans, it's something that we like, and it's hard to kind of knock that off. But I want to say, celebrate your accomplishments and build on them, and work on the soda thing. You'll get there.
And I
Wonderful.
am with
the good advice.
Kat. My girl Kat says coffee is another matter. Got to have my coffee, or I am not a nice person. And that's moi.
Yeah, Grace would get along fine. When she gets that second cup of coffee, and I'm just kind of rolling out of bed, and she's running in fifth gear or more, it's like, whoa, slow down just a little bit. But before she gets her second cup of coffee, she's where I am when I wake up. I kind of come up to slow speed, but I'm more like I can pace myself through the day and the night, and I get my 6 hours. I don't know if you have any of these apps or whatever, Nick, but I've got one for my iWatch and one for Grace's iWatch so that it shows the amount of deep REM sleep that we get. And so we compare notes in the morning as well. How many purples did you get in the deep sleep? I had like 12 in 6 hours. And she's like, maybe not so good. She has fibromyalgia, and sometimes that does have an effect on her. But, you know, it's as long as you feel like you're making improvements and you're going in the right direction, I think that's a great litmus test.
I just watched something last night on YouTube. It was on coffee. I think it might have been Vice Media or Wired Media. And I think it was Michael Pollan was talking about caffeine and coffee. And it just raised this issue of coffee has a lot of very healthful benefits, proven healthful benefits. It really does, you know, and and the one downside to coffee is that it will, you know, affect your sleep. Now, if you're putting 3 sugars and half in that coffee, Grace, then we got to, you know, and you're having 4 or 5 cups.
0 sugar.
Then
and a
But she's so sweet, Nick.
little bit of cream.
yeah,
A little bit
right.
of cream, but no sugar. And in fact, I actually watched my grandkids detox from sugar. They were taken off of it, and then I had them for the weekend, and I gave them just a little tiny bit. And what I saw transpire, it was almost like this monster child came out. And from that point on, I was like, yeah, okay, so let's go with natural sugar. Or so they do not do sugar any longer.
You know, I tend to look at everything through an evolutionary lens, right? And when I look at fitness and exercise and eating and all of that, and if you think about, you know, 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, you know, there was a small period during the year when you might be lucky enough to stumble across some fruit that was sweet. You know, it was a rare thing for us to find something that had that natural sugar in it. And now, you know, everything has sugar in it. It's hard to find things that don't have sugar in them, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, and I see it with my daughter, my youngest daughter, where the types of things that she eats, they have to be so flavor packed because she's used to things like flaming hot Cheetos or things that have a flavor profile that is so explosive compared to what I grew up with. Like if I grew up and if it was August and I got some peaches, you know, I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. You know, now you can get them year round. And the simple flavors that we all enjoyed, the food industry has just kind of turned that all upside down.
Oh my God, I didn't even like tomatoes. I thought I could not comprehend why they called tomatoes a fruit. It made no sense to me whatsoever. First of all, you can't cut them and put them in your cereal, you know. So
you could
until
over the last several years, but of course in 2020 I picked it up a notch. I have been doing heirloom tomatoes in gardens, and if you really want to get back your taste buds, do your own garden, because what Mother Nature gives us, I mean, you just have an heirloom tomato, a little bit of, you know, flavored olive oil, like garlic olive oil, and some vinaigrette, and it's just like pop, 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 pop in your mouth. You know, if you want your flavor back, garden.
It's unbelievable. I always say that if I, you know, it's the one thing in the garden that I would grow, you know, is tomatoes, because fresh tomatoes ripened off of the vine, there's nothing like them. They're, you know, they're so flavorful and delicious and wonderful.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can only keep them around for about 2 or 3 months, and the season goes away.
Yes. Hey, by the way, though, when you mentioned that, you really hit a nerve with me, Nick. It's when we were, I think maybe going from Idaho through Nevada, and we listened to books on tape through Audible, and I have one called Summary of Sapiens. Let's see if I can get that. There it is. And we were listening to that. And one of the chapters is just really resonated with what you said about, well, first, the body loves sugar, salt, and fat. What could be better than ice cream? But the sweetness is just like what you said. Is yes, when it comes to, like, if you got some berries, you better get them quick before the apes came around or whatever. If you were Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, or whatever,
Yeah.
but so. Because, back in the early days of mankind, is that, humans had to have the bone marrow. And thank God, there's a lot of protein in bone marrow because their brain needed 25% of the body's energy and all these things. But, we crave energy. That's the sun and everything that comes from it that contributes to life. And it was just fascinating about the fact is that, when it came to, like, the bigger animals that, until we got stones and tools and whatever, it's like we were pretty low on the pecking order. So I think when you know what the body wants, and if I'm speaking to some youngsters and they ask a question like, a really heavy question, like in the Bible, versus religious teachings, is how do you feel about premarital sex? Oh my gosh. In a way, it shows trust that they would ask that question, but, survival, procreation, the lower things on Maslow's hierarchy of need, these are big things for us. So I think we have to identify with those and how we can do it in a way that gets us our big goals, like you said. So if longevity is one, quality of life for others, is that, finding that right balance. And so how do you feel like you are on your journey, I guess, is my question.
I accept my journey. I mean, look, so many of us, someone just shared about losing weight and they have more weight to go. And I'm gonna say it again, which is, we have to celebrate the accomplishments that we have when we have them, and then build on them. And so for me, at, I'm nearing 60 years old and I'm very active, and, I mentioned earlier, I had a hip replacement, and I have, my body is becoming older. And, sometimes people will say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And my reaction to that is, no, the alternative is worse. Getting older comes with some aches and pains. And if you're not, getting older, that means you're dead. So I will take the aches and pains. And I will, because it works for me, I will exercise appropriately, and I will, watch what I eat appropriately. And what I mean by that is, I'm not one of these people who believes that you need to be a food monk. I believe that, if I don't eat ice cream once in a while, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm not going to be a happy person.
You're going to yell at kids on your front lawn.
It's like you have to, balance is really, really important in our lives. And activity, is so important. The book that changed it for me, Grace and Michael, was Younger Next Year. And it's a book, and I can boil it down for you. The premise of the book was, if you're not out hunting with the braves, okay, if you're not out on the hunt, then you're dying in the teepee. That was it. It's like, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not telling your body, hey, I still need to go out and hunt and move and do. If you're not doing that, then the signal that you're sending to your body is, I'm done.
I agree.
I
agree.
Boy, that's very wise.
Yeah.
Right?
Even with my fibromyalgia, it's kind of odd, because the worst thing that I can do is baby myself.
It is.
The minute I try to curl up on a chair and watch TV all day, I have more pain than if I get on the e-bike, or if I go out for a walk, or if I clean the house. As long as I keep moving, keep these old bones, getting lubricated, I feel a lot better than if I don't do anything at all. If I don't do anything, what happens, honey?
Yeah, it's not a happy camper. And I see Tim is saying moderation is my gauge for goodness. And he's from Vietnam. And so, it's, I had spent a year over there myself. And so some of it's what your wants and needs are, what your expectations are, what you think you deserve, or sometimes when things are just going pretty bad, is like not that we want to punish ourselves, but we say we just kind of give up. And my 94-year-old mother, I just say, if you can't walk as much anymore and you need the cane, that's fine. But if you go to the door and you get outside and you get a couple of breaths of fresh air and you say, I would like to go more, but I choose because of the way I'm feeling right now, it's not a good thing to do. That's fine. So, but you're talking about like the tribe. And so, at some point, grandpa and grandma, the tribe must move on because winter is coming. Give them reparations and wish them well. But I hope that we are not where we become so apathetic that we say we never want to become victims. I guess we always want to be where we feel like we're relevant. And I think that's true as YouTube producers, right, Nick?
No,
and we have something to give, and we have something of value. But it's sort of like what Tim Smoyer would say, our mission is to make the world a better place. I mean, what could be better than that?
Not a lot. But you said something there that is the basis of a lot of what I'm doing on the channel, which is, are you a victim, or are you being passive, or are you taking the good fight forward? And I think the way that we respond to these setbacks that we have, or these realities of aging, whether it's putting on a little weight or having a little arthritis or dealing with this, whatever health issues that come your way, because, we all know they're coming. Hopefully they're small. But you're going to be knocked back on your heels for a second, and then you really have to figure out a way through it and a way forward. And I work with some people at the gym who are in their 70s and who have some pretty major stuff going on. And they are dealing with it in a really positive way. It's like, I can't do anything about it, but I can take better care of myself. I can, go to the gym. I can hike with my wife. I can eat better, whatever those things are. And it's really inspired me. Because I'm a little bit away from my 70s, but seeing people in the way that they are able to maintain a positive attitude and really, take the fight forward is super inspiring to me.
Yeah,
beautifully said. When you were off in your RV, getting back to some of those stories, that I'm kind of curious about, like, my approach, as Grace will tell you, is that I love to learn. And so, I would be, no matter what it is in life, my next passion is that, okay, I might watch some YouTube videos, get some books, look at some forums, who knows where you end up, where you started. The next thing, you're off on, some real interesting tangent. I'm just curious, when you went to go RV now, I'm assuming you camped and things when you were younger, maybe with your folks, but tell us a little bit about your story and how you decide what rental to get, or, where to go. I'd be curious just to hear some about your adventures.
Sure. So it started because my wife is a thorn in my side, a positive thorn in my side. And she decided she wanted to go to Southern Utah like in a month. Okay. In a month, in it was May, I think, April or May. And so a lot of it, we didn't have a choice in. So when we went to rent an RV, it wasn't like we had a whole bunch of them to choose from. But I knew that we wanted to be in a Class B. I knew that we wanted something small that we could drive around and I knew that we wanted to disperse camp. So we wanted the ability to kind of camp on national park lands or wherever it was allowed, outside of the RV camps. So we ended up renting a van here in close to where we lived, and it ended up being a pretty nice vehicle. As far as the planning went, so we had all this stuff that we were going to bring with us, right? And when we got the van, when we picked it up and we were looking at each other like, there's no way we're going to be able to fit all the stuff we have in this vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? We're overpacked. Well, it turned out we actually could. There was so much space in there that we probably brought more than we should have. And in fact, we brought more food than we should have because, you know, there are actually supermarkets out there that you can go to. Lo and behold.
Duh.
Right. And because I was a backpacker, I think my mentality was, no, I need to have stuff.
Right.
You know, which was good because we always did have stuff.
Was your strategy to go out for a couple of days at a time and then kind of come back, or be out more than that?
We were gone for 2 weeks. I think if is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, but was your plans as you started to get there, like Grace and I will sometimes, before we get out in the backpacking or, you know, boondocking or whatever, we'll make that last trip to Walmart or wherever it is, Fred Meyer's or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what we probably did as new RVers or new, you know, class beers or whatever, is even though we had food, we would have that tendency when we passed the supermarket to be like, oh, we have to buy something. You know, even though we have stuff, it's like, oh, no, we have to buy something. Mm-hmm. So we would.
You put that on your bed, or where did it start to go?
You know, we had a fridge, and we didn't. It was actually like we ate really well. We brought our cast iron frying pan and had a couple of burners. And this particular vehicle had a couple of burners inside. It had a microwave. You know, we could boil water and it had power, so we could do that. It just all worked, you know, and I wish I could tell you, I'm typically very much of a detail-oriented planner, but because we had such limited time to plan this trip, and we were going to an area that is very heavily touristed, right? I mean, southern Utah, there's a lot of people. We were lucky in a couple of instances in Zion. We were lucky to actually find a place to be able to park our vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah. Zion has been one of the top ones there, and a great place to go. And, you know, we got this close to it, but what was it, Grace? About 6-7 months ago, we got kind of off in that neck of the woods, and then we thought that it was snowing, but we kind of remember you thought it was cold, but she looked at the app, and the app was giving it in centigrade, not Fahrenheit, and we thought, it'll be freezing up there. But the thing we learned though, and don't judge us too harshly, Nick, but you know, we thought, well, we'll buy some things at the local store, and the stores there in Utah is like, you know, good Mormons there. They're saying, you want some of this stuff, you got to go to the state store, and it's closed now. And so we thought we learned our lesson. That's the thing we'll bring next time, is bring our own wine.
Yeah,
so here you go.
That is one way I've lessened the burden, so to speak. Like you said, there are supermarkets everywhere. And before I used to plan like, oh, we're going for 3 weeks. We need this, we need that. And now I've come to the conclusion is if you can pick it up out on the road, you know, or replace it really easily, and it's not something that you have to bring from home, don't bring it. Get it as you go.
Yeah. Nick had something to share here, honey.
All the time.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you want to talk about when it was 22 degrees inside our van and it was snowing? Do you want to talk about the bathroom backup?
You didn't get to that. That was a great part. You know, when you do your videos, you know, how much do you want drama, realism? I don't know what the right balance is. I think it depends on your brand, but I thought you did a great way of not making it a big part of the story about, you know, everything goes wrong, but you were real about, you know, this was one of the setbacks and you had to deal with it.
There were several, and the bathroom one was, you know, so in our particular vehicle, when we picked it up, you know, the guy we picked it up from told us he emptied all the tanks, but the indicator was showing that, you know, there was solid waste in one of the tanks. And he's like, oh, that's probably nothing. Don't worry about that. Well, we got out on the road and we were driving down the road one day, and we hadn't been using, you know, the head very much. In fact, I didn't use it at all for solid waste, because it's a small vehicle with 17
That's how
feet.
we are.
Yeah, right. You want, that's the last resort.
Yeah.
And we're driving down the road, and I'm like, do you smell that? My wife's like, no, I don't smell anything. And a couple of minutes later, I'm like, do you smell that? She said, oh, I do smell that. And what had happened, you know, is there was a shower in this thing, believe it or not, 17 feet, and there was a shower in it. And it had kind of a little bit had backed up. So that was a fire drill where we had to get the Clorox wipes and the disinfectants and, do all of that to get it cleaned up. And what it meant was we had to keep an eye on it and make sure we were emptying that thing constantly, because we would use it for liquid waste, especially at nighttime. You don't want to go out in the outside when it's freaking 22 degrees. You're going to use the head. But we did just kind of roll with it. There were several things that kind of went wrong with the vehicle along the way. One of the front door hinges lost a bolt, and so it started to sag. And we were in the middle of.
I missed that.
Yeah, I didn't put it in the story in the video, but we pulled into basically a body shop garage in I don't even remember where it was, this tiny little town in Nevada, and they fixed it for us. They squared us away. Then the water pump stopped working. So I had to go in the back and flip some valves. It was actually dumping water, what was happening. So there were lots of little things that happened, but none of those things affected our trip. We were able to really enjoy ourselves. What I did learn, and what we both learned, is for us, there are things in that vehicle that were complex that we wouldn't do again. That we don't need we don't need the type of head that it had. There are simpler types, a cassette version, which would probably be a lot better. And there were certain things that made the vehicle just more complicated. This is kind of a funny story. I'm going to make up his name, but we were at Bryce Canyon, and it's beautiful. And the RV owner had an RV mechanic come meet us to see if we could sort out the solid waste situation. And so we put the vehicle up on some blocks, and then I'm under there and he's under there, and we're tapping things and, running pumps and whatnot. And he's, salt of the earth, older Mormon guy, and at one point he just looks at me, he's like, because we were in what's called a Heimer Son, which is a German outfitted Dodge Ram. So it's
I knew it was a Dodge Ram, but it's actually a Heimer version.
It was a Heimer version.
Oh, those are the top of the line. Yeah.
Oh, it was super nice. Don't get me wrong. But what I learned is I don't want super nice, because when Vern, let's call him Vern, we're under there in the dirt, and he just looks over at me, goes, if this was a Winnebago, he goes, I'd have no problem sorting this out, but I don't know about this dang thing. He's like, this one's got me baffled.
Yeah.
Right?
That is so true.
Less is more.
Sometimes less is more. And sometimes, you don't want the German car. Sometimes you want the Toyota, because everyone knows how to work on it.
True.
And that's kind of the genesis, or is where I thought you were going to go with this, is that, I see Tim, more bang for your buck. And, he's built everything. He's kind of studied this stuff and seen what he wants, adapted, kind of changed some ways he's done it, got it more efficient. But, if you're an outdoors person, you can go, like if you're a camper or whatever, you can go, buy all the good stuff, or you can be kind of a tinkerer. But I mean, at some point, somebody's going to have to do some repairs, or at least some troubleshooting. In our case, I guess we had some areas there where the roads were rough gravel roads or whatever. It wasn't extreme, but later on down the road, and Grace, as we get to, Grace, where I guess it was spot number 13. Grace is 13 is lucky for me. Well, day 13th is lucky for me. Okay, great. I'm cool. I'm not superstitious. And then the water pump wasn't working. It was like, okay, that's a 12-volt system. And do we have other?
Subscribe.
Yeah. So other thing, 12 volts. Yes, we do. They're working. And it's like, okay, a lot of people, when they go to Alaska, they buy an extra water pump. I don't have an extra water pump. We can work this run. I have a 5-gallon jerry can on the side, a plastic one. And we can use that. It's not going to be terrible, but I do have a volt ohm meter, and I got out the fuse, and it had continuity, and put it back in, and everything started working. I don't know. Was the
Gremlins.
interlock, or was it just it came loose? Who knows what it was? But you remember that, honey, when our trip there?
do. 13, we were in spot 13 on Friday the 13th, but it was a really cool spot.
Tell
And
them
we're gonna
about the
tell-
spot.
No, we're going to tell them more about that spot in a video. I kind of want to go backwards.
Okay.
And I've
Yes.
been holding on to this, something that Kat said, and I'm going to go ahead and post it here.
Let's do it.
When we were talking about staying healthy and we were talking about the physical things that we do, she said, you also have to keep your brain moving, keep learning new things, do puzzles, read books, etc. And she followed up that she's 72, and if she let herself slow down and said, oh, poor me, you might as well close your casket. Yeah.
You know, I couldn't agree more. And, you know, along those lines, one of the things that I recommend for people to do is, you know, eat with your opposite hand is a really good one occasionally. Another one, if you have an electric toothbrush that beeps at you every 30 seconds, stand on one foot, it beeps, stand on the other foot. Practice your balance. As we get older, one of the things that we have the most problem with is our balance. But it is absolutely mind-blowing. People come to me and getting your balance back, getting your quickness back, getting certain things back, your body wants to give it to you. You know, your body wants you to have that stuff back. And in a short period of time, by practicing these types of things, it is unbelievable how much what I think what she just said is true. And my grandmother, Frances, lived till she was 97, and she was on methadone because her body was just in such bad shape. But she would come to my house, and she had her great grandchildren, my daughters, and every time she came, she would ask for a paper bag and a broom, and she would go into my backyard and she would pick up leaves. And
Okay, Nick, I am ready to rumble with my paintball gear. You know, if you do not move fast enough, you will feel the pain. If you go fast enough, well, as Grace show me, sometimes I get welts on my body, but I'll tell you, this is one way for sure that I guarantee you will get moving. Anyway, I just thought you get a kick out of that. It's
That
been
was
since
what he learned
pre-COVID
to
since
do.
I've actually gone out. I have a grandson who said he wanted to go play paintball. I said, well, this is kind of fun. And, you know, I may be out with the 15-year-olds, but it is kind of, we're as old as we think they are. Now, Kathleen says she's 72. I'm not going to be 72 for another 3 months, but hey, you know, I may be getting older, but I will refuse to grow up.
That's true.
I just
will
thought you get a kick out of
keep
that.
you
vouch
young.
for that. Speaking of balance, you know, it's so funny how, you know, because I always have a joke about my name, Grace. I always say that when I was born, I came flying out into the world and I almost landed on my head, and the doctor had to catch me, and God said, there goes Grace. I mean, just me and falling and balance has always been an issue. And then I learned something, you know, my youngest granddaughter, her balance is, oh my God, the things that this child can do. I mean, somersaults, flips, cartwheels. She's incredible. Her balance is wonderful. Me, I just recently learned that, you know, the stand on one foot thing, I used to not be able to do that. I'd be like, oh. But if you stare, like if you look at the ground and you focus on just one spot or one little thing, and then you lift your leg up, your balance is so much better. And just that little trick, tiny little trick helped me so much.
Yeah, that is, they call that, and I think in yoga, they call it a disti spot. But the idea is that you look at something that's not moving and you focus on that spot. When you move your eyes around as you're trying to balance, when you look at different things, that messes with your vestibular system. It creates more chaos in your brain. So what we work on with folks is exactly that, Grace, is when we're starting out, it's find a spot, look at the spot. before you lift that 1 foot off the ground, and you only have to lift it a little bit. You don't have to lift it real high. The other thing that I ask people to do is to tighten their core. You know, really think about getting that posture nice and tall, tightening up their core and feeling all the weight in your body drop down into that foot. And what people also do is they'll scrunch their foot like they're trying to hold on. And you want to do the opposite. You spread that foot out. You let that foot do what it was designed to do, right? Which is spread out and support you. And that's kind of the beginning. You know, you get next to a doorway, you're next to something that you can put your hand right next to it. So it's safe. If you feel like you're getting out of balance, you grab it. So you have a safety, an out, you know, and that's kind of the beginning of it. And then you get to the advanced part. That's when you close your eyes. You know, when you really have good balance, all of a sudden you close your eyes, and now it becomes doubly difficult to keep that balance. So that's kind of the advanced part of it. But as we get older, really, there are 3 things that we neglect that are very, very important. One is balance, and we talked about that. Another one, surprisingly enough, is quickness, because what happens as we get older is sometimes we'll stumble potentially, and we're not quick enough to catch ourselves.
Right.
So quickness, you know, buy some tennis balls and, you know, bounce them on the ground or throw them against the wall. Do things that force your body to be quicker than it's used to being. The reason that your niece or your granddaughter has such great balance is because she's out there moving like a little monkey all the time. And her body's like, this is what I do. This is great. You know, and you and I, we still have that capacity, believe it or not, you know.
But I didn't have it when I was her age.
Well, but it's all relative.
I blame it on an inner ear balance thing. You know, it's why I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah. And the
Grace would be the first to say is that when she got her Vox socks, it did improve her balance. So whether, you know, it's your shoes, your socks, whatever those things are, I find that when we go out walking, it's not uncommon sometimes where there's, you know, the sidewalk because of the tree roots that lifts up by a bit. And if I hit it, you know, I can just I can go ahead and catch myself. And I think a lot of people, they find those types of things challenging. So whatever we can do to improve our balance, right, Grace? What's that?
I said you can catch me too.
I try, baby. At least on the first bounce.
You the other day, though.
You did.
Well, you know.
So tell us, Nick. I do need to ask you: is that you probably deal with people one-on-one or in groups? But do people ever work with you online? I know some people I see that are in the internet world have membership sites or Patreons or different things. But how do you work with people?
Well, I like to work with people in person because I feel I get better feedback from them in regards to I can really see what's going on. And I form personal relationships with people, which is really important, I think, to getting them back to the gym and them continuing with what it is that they're doing. They feel good about that. You know, I became a personal trainer not because I was trying to make a living at it. The income is definitely nice. Don't get me wrong, but I became a personal trainer because I wanted to help people in our age range. And I knew that as I left my old career, having social interactions would be really important to me. Because a lot of the interactions I had at work were going to be gone. So interestingly enough, a lot of my career was spent on video calls and phone calls and remote meetings. And when COVID hit and my gym was encouraging us to do, Zoom workouts or video workouts, that was honestly the last thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I had done that. And I'm like, that's not why I got into this.
Right.
I like being with people.
How about your YouTube channel? We have about a minute left is all, because we have to turn it over to the people come after us.
Yeah, of course.
But just in a nutshell, is that what is your objectives? How can we help you on your YouTube channel?
You know, my YouTube channel is about inspiring people to live their best life. And you alluded to the fact that, you know, I think that it's entertaining. I think there's some good storytelling there. I would love for the people, you know, watching this to come check it out. If you just enter my name into the YouTube search bar, Nick Lituanio, you know, my channel will pop up. And the goal is to kind of share my life and my experiences, and hopefully people can get something out of that rather than me kind of being preachy and telling people what to do. It's more like, come along for the ride. Let's have some fun. You know,
You definitely get into the why. And I think you just also, you know, Grace, I can sometimes be long over 10 minutes, but you give a lot of value in like 5 to 7 minutes, I believe. So I just want to compliment you on giving a lot for just a little bit of somebody's time.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate that.
His channel is in our link. I've also gone ahead and I posted it here, so be sure to check him out. And we thank you so much for being with us, Nick. If you want to stick around here, we can continue, but we're going to go ahead and say goodbye and good night to everybody. So happy to be back with you all. So look forward to seeing you next Saturday night. And if you want a sticker, sorry I didn't cover that earlier. Make sure, let me find the Michael.
By the way, Van Life with Gina is who's coming up next. No?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. I missed that. Oops.
Sorry, you did miss that.
I was away.
Send Michael at CaliforniaTravelVideos.com. Send us your address. We'll send you a sticker. So until next time.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.
Thanks for having me.
Peace out. Hang around, Nick. We'll go ahead and visit with you some more.
All right.
See y'all later.